Hey, good Sunday morning, week 2. Let's get it on. SportsCenter rolls along live at 11 a.m. here in the East alongside James McCarthy. I'm Bram Weinstein. James Harrison getting set to face his former team on Monday night, but before kickoff, he was talking to John Gruden about facing Father Time.
And Tiger firing back after his 2-shot penalty, feeling unfairly penalized. See how Woods put himself back in contention with his play on the course. Fresh Hour SportsCenter starts right now.
Alabama lost a game last year and still went on to win a national championship. Our season isn't over. Anything can happen. This is college football.
This is SportsCenter Live.
It promised to be a thriller. It delivered. Alabama outlasting Texas A&M. The chances the Aggies will be BCS title bound. And if Mandel clinched a second Heisman yesterday. Peyton always a headache, but Eli might not be the Broncos' biggest problem. RG3 looking to shake off the rust against the Packers on a day filled with dream matchups. And then there was one. Floyd Mayweather remains unbeaten after defeating Canelo Alvarez. But why is last night's fight destroying boxing? SportsCenter, let's go.
Those autographs are still available. I might be in the market for one of them. There's Jesse Palmer, Dana Cannell, don't blame Johnny Football, who didn't know he'd need 50 to beat Alabama in back-to-back years, but man, did he give it the old college try. It was a great one in College Station, lived up to the billing. He had him out to a quick 14-0 lead before they could blink. We're now tied at 14, 3rd and 8, and this might be the play of the year from Johnny.
Just like Eli Manning in the Super Bowl, just staying on his feet. Ill-advised throw, though, but a great job by a wide receiver coming down with it.
Yeah, David Tyree's mouth left hanging wide open after one of the plays of the year here early, and then later on the drive, 2nd and goal to Cyrus Jones. Oh, one of the big mistakes that Johnny Football had.
Yeah, on the other side of the field, he had his big 6'5" receiver there, chose to go the other way, and not the best throw either.
Time for the Tide to start rolling. Here's a bad angle by the safety, and Kenny Bell is gone.
Tremendous play call by offensive coordinator Doug Nussmeier, taking advantage of 9 defenders in the box, one-on-one outside with Kenny Bell. You take that all day.
Yeah, the problem is Johnny Football can't play defense, and apparently neither can A&M. There goes T.J. Yeldon, 25 for 149. Saban won to talk about the celebration.
Yeah, he was not happy with this from Yeldon, trying to exhibit a little bit more class from the Alabama program.
And for the most part, you saw that really from both sides throughout the day after all the hype and all the discussion leading up to this thing. First Aggie drive in the second half, and here's the pick by Vinny Sunseri, ball up in the air. And how about these running skills from the defensive back? Off he goes, and there's Johnny Football trying to make the tackle. Ole, and off he goes.
Easily the best play by the Bama secondary on the day. And how about Vinny Sunseri's second pick 6 in as many games for this defense?
All right, so Alabama up 35-14, felt like the route was on. But with under 9 to go, here's Yeldon stripped by the Aggies. All of a sudden, we got a turnover in the game. Who's back on?
Yeah, you're thinking here's where Alabama's defense has to step up and make a stop. Texas A&M has to go the length of the field. Guess what? Only takes one play.
That's right, 3rd and 9. Here it goes to Mike Evans. Gone! 7 catches for 279. Back in the game was Texas A&M.
That was a school record for Texas A&M. Bama did not have an answer in one-on-one coverage from Mike Evans the entire game.
Ensuing Alabama drive. Here they are. McCarron. Jalston Fowler in the flat. McCarron was terrific. 20 of 29, 334, 4 touchdowns. It's now 49-35, but they had to give the ball back to that guy. 40 seconds to go. He's getting pressured. He's spinning away, and he's looking for Evans again and again, getting on the highlight reel.
It's kind of like throwing a Megatron. You just find your biggest, best wide receiver, even if he's triple covered, coming down with the football.
He had 35 unanswered scored on them, and Johnny just kept coming, and later in the drive finds Malcolm Kennedy corner. Touchdown, 28 of 39, 464, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. But they needed a miracle to get back into it, and it wasn't going to happen. The ball ended up bouncing Bama's way on the onside kick, and so Nick Saban and Alabama, they do survive the rematch.
And this was a great win for our players today. I'm so proud of our players for, the resiliency they showed out there, getting behind 14-0 in the game. Just slowly and methodically coming back in the game and building up a lead.
This is an unbelievable win for us, our program, our team, especially the young guys we have on this team. But it took an overall team effort. I mean, it came down to the smallest thing, a hand team right there, and the fact that they had to win the ball game for us was big.
You know, as we show you some of these numbers, Samsung next level on A.J. McCarron, who was incredible against the blitz. All 4 of his touchdown passes when facing 5 or more pass rushers. All the headlines go to Johnny Football. But here's the guy who is now in line to do something that no one's done, which is win 3 straight national championships.
There's a saying around here that people like to use talking about wide receivers. All they do is catch touchdown. All A.J. McCarron does is win championships. It's unreal.
Incredible. Bama wins again. Here's how the losing side saw it.
I told them that we just played a really good football team, and they're the reason that they're the number 1 team in the country, and that I was proud of the effort. We didn't always do everything right, but nobody can say that this team quit.
Try to go game by game. Chuck last year, we continued to get better week by week, and the result was what happened in the Cotton Bowl. So for us, this isn't the end of our season. This wasn't the Super Bowl. This wasn't the last game of the season. Alabama lost a game last year and still went on to win a national championship. They lost to LSU the year before and still went on to go to the national championship. So our season isn't over. Anything can happen. This is college football.
No, it's not over. Now, the likelihood, short of a major surprise, is they're not even going to play for the SEC championship this year. But 2 years ago, Alabama lost to LSU, didn't play in the conference championship game, and got into the title game anyway. So if they were to not lose again for the rest of the year, can you make a case for an all-SEC championship again based on the competitiveness of that game yesterday?
It could happen, but we're assuming a lot. You're assuming Stanford, Oregon, Florida State, Clemson, Ohio State, whoever else loses games. I think potentially what hurts Texas A&M this year is the schedule. And I know they play in the SEC West. They're going to play LSU. They're going to still play Ole Miss. They don't play Florida, Georgia, or South Carolina in the regular season. If Alabama doesn't lose again, they don't play in an SEC championship game. 2011, Bama at least played Penn State. They at least played Florida during the regular season. Now, fans would love it because in 2011, when Bama played LSU in the regular season, 9-6 in overtime, fans would love to see a rematch in a game that featured 1,200 yards of offense yesterday and maybe a repeat Heisman Trophy winner, and A.J. McCarron, who might win the Heisman this year as well. It would be more fun to watch, but you're assuming a lot. Season's still early. Let's just hold on.
And Texas A&M, as light as their schedule is, they still have a lot of question marks on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, not only against Alabama did they struggle, but in week 1 against Rice, against Sam Houston State, they have major issues stopping the run. And the best way to defend Manziel from this point on is going to be to keep him on the sideline and try to use the time of possession against them.
If Bama's going to score 49 points, nobody's going to beat them. that is clear. But defensively, and maybe this is Johnny Football, and maybe this is Kevin Sumlin, and maybe this is the effect that they had, but the most ever yardage against an Alabama team occurred yesterday, 628. Do you have concerns about the time moving forward?
Absolutely. And this has been the best defense the last 2 years.Maybe they'll be the best defense again this season. Time will tell. But as of today, this is the worst Alabama secondary we've seen in years. And they got exposed against Texas A&M last night. Cornerbacks Deion Ballou, John Fulton, Cyrus Jones all got ambushed in man-to-man coverage on the outside. Safeties and corners not playing very well in space and robber coverage. I know it's A&M. They're a juggernaut. Johnny Manziel won a Heisman. Mike Evans is a freak show at 6'5", 225 pounds, but they no longer have that Drake Kirkpatrick, that D. Milner, the shutdown corner that takes away your best wide receiver, your best option. There's going to come a time down the road where they play a physical offensive line like LSU. They've got to load the box defensively, and they're going to be one-on-one outside against a very good receiving corps that could hurt this defense. Great win against Texas A&M. Thank God that's over. Defensive secondary needs work.
They've got a lot of time to figure it out, though, because they really have a cakewalk to the SEC title game. LSU really their only test. It'll be interesting because LSU has sort of a new identity on that offensive side of the ball, too. Mettenberger looks much better, looks much more comfortable throwing the ball down the field with Cam Cameron calling the plays. That could be the matchup to watch.
Watch out for Ole Miss, too.
Yeah,
they
had a big win
yesterday against Texas.
I don't know if that's a big win anymore. They're going to beat Texas.
He's not Zacky football either. So how much is this is Johnny football? And after the performance yesterday, I know a lot of people are wondering, would the Heisman Committee give him the trophy choice based on the offseason that he had? But due to his play, it's hard not to argue that he's right there. So quickly, is he the front runner again?
To me, even though they lose, he's the front runner for the Heisman, and he's more accurate, and he's playing better this year from the pocket. That's the big difference.
To win it, he's got to run the table the rest of the season, and he's got to put up just as good of numbers as he did last year, or not better. And then everybody else around him has to collapse, too, because there are a lot more contenders for the Heisman this year. At this point, there's a lot of football left.
Yeah, second most yardage by anyone in SEC history in a single game. He holds the record for that, but this was done against Alabama. Jesse Palmer and Danny Cannell here with us on SportsCenter.
To the NFL, and from the time they were kids, the sibling rivalry, it has thrived. But 2 times Peyton and Eli have met at the game's highest level, and 2 times Peyton has gotten the best of his little brother. Here he finds Austin Collie in the second matchup. Round 3, here we go. Broncos, Giants this afternoon. And we say good morning to Josina Anderson, who's at MetLife Stadium. So it is the Manning Bowl. There's always a build-up to this one, Josina. How are the Giants handling it?
Well, Jay, Giant safety Antrell Roll told me that he believes the Manning Bowl is all a media creation. Roll said there's no such thing as a Manning Bowl, adding Eli Manning and Peyton Manning aren't competing against one another. They're quarterbacks. Roll said, listen, I get it. They're brothers. They love one another. They'll be on the same field together. But he said at the end of the game, this game is about the New York Giants and the Denver Broncos and nothing else. Now, as for his teammates, they have no problem, with this being a little bit of hype around this family occasion. And they also believe that it is important to Eli to beat his older brother.
I think, it does matter to him. If I had a brother, in the NFL, was defensive end too, I'd be like, look, I'm going to see if I can get to your quarterback before you get to Miles, And I think it really matters, but I think the most thing about Eli is just winning this game and getting it under his belt. But I think it matters. I don't care what he said. I think it matters. We'll see. If it was me, I'd say Eli's a better quarterback. So, you got it on camera? Eli's a better quarterback.
Yes, we got it on cameras. As you can see, clearly Eli's teammates have his back. Victor Cruz told me, for me, it's personal. I want to get the win for Eli. He said, listen, I think subconsciously it eats at him that some people regard his older brother more highly than him. But he said, at the end of the day, listen, I think it's important for him to have more bragging rights, finally beating his brother one-on-one, Jade.
All right, well, speaking of Victor Cruz, the Cowboys did not have an answer for him last week. So how do the Broncos plan on handling him today?
Jade, it's more about who plans on slowing him down. Listen, Victor Cruz had a season opening statement with that 3-touchdown performance against the Cowboys in Week 1, but Broncos quarterback Chris Harris told me that he wants to make a statement against Cruz today. Now, the 3-year DB, who was also an undrafted free agent like Cruz and who will also be getting a start with Champ Bailey out again, said, I'm excited because if I lock him down, they'll also be having to say that I am one of the best. Now, Chris Harris said from his film studies, he can tell that Victor Cruz will get loose on a corner and a safety, but that he believes he has this speed to stay up with them as long as he stays high and does not let the ball get over him. Now, as for where Chris Harris's confidence comes from, he told me it comes from locking Anquan Bolden down last season. Jade, he said everybody's talking about Anquan Bolden and all his 200-plus receiving yards that he had last week against the 49ers. But he said, check this out. Last season in Baltimore, he had 0 catches with me facing him, so he said, I can handle it. Look it up.
Call it whatever you want it. We'll stick with the Manning Bowl. Josina Anderson joining us this morning with the latest. Thanks, Josina.
They hadn't allowed a point in the first 2 weeks, but Wisconsin taken down to the wire Saturday night. And with the game on the line, see one of the most bizarre endings ever. Plus,
This is a fight that I wanted. This is a fight that Alvarez wanted. He's 42-0, 44-0. He's the #1 fighter at junior middleweight. I'm the #1 fighter in the world, so it's going to be a good matchup.